Well, good morning. Welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. Hope you all are having a good day. Welcome to all the new people. It's great that every day I get up and I see that both of our channels continue to grow, both on YouTube and on Patreon. If you're not with us on Patreon and you'd like to be, it's a great way to support the channel and what we're doing. I always put the links down here, first off in the information box, and then I've come to start pinning a comment also with those links in there, that you can come over and click that and join us on Patreon for $1 a month or whatever you'd like to. And by the way, thank you for all those who are giving more. I never asked for more, but how nice of you. You really help us with this. So if you'd like to kind of support the channel and be a member and get extra content that's over there, that's the way to do it. Also, there are links to my books. The first one, and as I said when I was just shooting the video on integrative preparedness, they're loading up all of our channels with these gun control ads, Sandy Hook Promise and some others, I forget which. And this is not brought to you by any of those. I can't control who advertises on my channel, but what I can do is advertise myself. So I want to let you know that this video is brought to you by my book, The Reversion, and its 4 sister books, The Revival, The Renewal, An Appeal to Heaven, and The Blessings of Freedom. All 5 books are part of the Stonemont series. The way it's about the collapse, the total collapse of a country, how to prepare for it, how to survive it, how to rebuild afterwards. Now, it's not the kind of collapse we're going through right now, but a collapse is a collapse, and the lesson contained in here will serve you well in all circumstances. And it's about traditional values, and it's about the American way, and it's about how to take care of things. It's about justice. It's about family. It's about community. It's a world that you on this channel will enjoy becoming a part of as you read it and as you live in it. So this is the way to get those is also it's on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon in either trade paperback or Kindle, and you can also get signed copies from me if you'd like to, although that takes a lot longer. And the way to do that is down here, so feel free to click that if you'd like, if you're interested in that. And thank you very much. Okay, what I want to talk about today is the collapse of our country. That's a common, we think about that, we talk about that because it's happening, and we cannot ignore it. We must accept that it's what's happening, and it's my opinion, as it is many of yours, that it's being done purposefully. In a second, I'm going to read just a short thing from somebody, but I want to start with my own thoughts on this, and be waiting to hear your thoughts as well. I want to hear all of your thoughts on this. And that is that what's happening to our country is a controlled demolition. You remember some years ago, we all in shock watched, well, I wasn't in shock, to be honest. People asked me, what did you think when that happened on September 11th? Were you surprised? And I said no. And most people thought that was very strange, but I wasn't. And as we saw 2 airliners, one hit each one of those buildings. And instead of seeing what we would expect to see, we saw those buildings collapse into their own footprint, which takes some skill. Then we saw another building that wasn't even hit by anything collapse. We came upon our big moment, didn't we? And what we know was that what we saw, the great event that we saw, was simply the superficial cause, right? That could not have had the effect of the result we saw. The same thing is happening to our country. I just mentioned on one that I put over on integrative preparedness that the latest news, after all the news that we've had lately, is that there is apparently an invasion approaching our southern border of 15,000 people or more, making their way through Mexico, coming up to our border. We don't have people on the border to stop that if those people want to come over. Our Border Patrol guys is as hard as they're working, passing out formula and doing their best. They're doing their best down there. I don't fault them a bit. I wouldn't want their jobs right now. This is something that could break everything wide open. Now, is this going to be the event or not? We don't know. Let me read something before I continue here. This is from Politicrossing, and I'll post this over on the Patreon channel along with this in the notes for this video. And that's for those of you who aren't on Patreon. Everything that I put on YouTube, I then put the same video on Patreon, and then I'll put the links to things from which I read on that. So here we have, this is from Politicrossing from Chris Widener, and his title, "This is exactly how you destroy America." And it has all been planned. He says, "It has taken a long time to get America to where we are today. Decades and decades, and it was all planned out. In the middle of the 20th century, the average American was patriotic. They loved America. They knew history and studied reading, writing, and arithmetic. They were not consumed with folly." Isn't that the truth? Have you seen these moronic NBA coaches who have come out for gun control? Don't have a clue. And Matthew McConaughey, whatever. I don't watch actors and I don't watch sports. And these people who are just clueless have such an effect on our culture because they are folly, and people are consumed with folly nowadays. In order to destroy America, he continues, they first had to destroy Americans, and thus it began. Sow seeds of doubt as to the legitimacy of Christianity. Declare capitalism evil at its core. Those of you who have heard me read the 45 goals of the American Communist Party will recognize some of this in here. Focus all attention on the sins of our past, such as slavery, rather than the fact that we figured it out, repented, and abolished it. That's right. America abolished slavery. It didn't invent it. It abolished it. But do we celebrate that? No. Create a permanent minority underclass that will never get out of poverty and can be counted on to vote for those who constantly promise that they will get them out of that poverty, while knowing that they will forever be there. There is a quote by Lyndon Johnson, and I can't use one of the words that he used, but when he was pushing for his Great Society, for all the welfare programs, he said, if we can get this through, we will have the blanks. You fill that in. He used the N-word. Voting for us for generations. Well, they're losing them now, aren't they? As so many of my black friends assure me. You know what turned so many of my black friends is when I showed them that quote by Johnson. He continues, dumb Americans down by taking over the schools and universities and focusing on such courses as feminist studies rather than history, philosophy, economics, math, and science, and other traditional studies. You know, people used to, did you know? Some of you older people do. 40 years ago, high school graduates actually knew a little bit about history. They knew a little bit about how their government worked. They knew a little bit about world history. They knew about our founders. They had an understanding of the founding principles. They had studied the founders and held these people up to be heroes. Now they're looked at as slave owners. Okay, and nowadays a person doesn't consider themselves educated until they, you know, can name all the different alphabets and and they are adequately woke, you know, and have their feminist studies under their belts. But as to history, philosophy, economics, math, and science, we have a generation, for the most part, not all, but we've got some sharp people in every generation who are just out to lunch. And they are minds full of, how did Rush put it, minds full of mush, just waiting to be led in whatever direction the masters upstairs want to lead them. He continues, create an all-consuming culture of amusement with movies, concerts, sporting events, and debauchery. People today are consumed, like they were in Rome, with being entertained. That's what it's all about, being entertained. Why? Because they don't have a life. They don't have lives that mean anything to them. They don't stand for anything. They don't stand against anything. As long as everything's going along fine, and they can be entertained, and their team is playing, and there's a party to go to, they are just fine. Make young women consumed with the Kardashians and The Bachelor, while young men are consumed with sports and video games. Does that ring a bell? Fill the minds of Americans with degradation and all things unholy. Hide the great American history from them and instead tell them that they are racist, sexist, transphobic, homophobic, and every other ist and phobic that you can think of. Shame them with invented sins that rack them with guilt. Install a press that rivals Pravda with its disinformation, hiding the truth and telling us that lies are really the truth. Undermine the Constitution. Right? Well, the Constitution and the amendments aren't meant to be exact, right? Turn people against the police and the military. That's how you destroy America. Then he goes on to, it's time to wake up, friends. This has been 70 years coming. That's right. What's going to be the flash? This was planned because our opposition thinks long term. They've been chipping away and chipping away and chipping away at the foundations of our country. They have been putting those charges within our country that most people didn't see. They didn't know they were there. Until someday something happens. A plane comes, hits that building. An invasion comes. Whatever. And in and of itself would not have had a devastating effect. But because all of these things have been put in place, all of them have been planted before the big event, that thing comes flat down into its own footprint. This is a controlled demolition of our country. What do you think our chances are of stopping it in mid-collapse? I think I'll stop right there because I'd love to hear your alls. Rather than me continue to talk, I think I'd like to hear your all's opinions on this. Do you agree? Is this a controlled demolition? And what are our chances in stopping that, if any, in mid-collapse? And if you want to go even further, if you don't think it's possible, what do you think we do? Those are questions. I want to hear your answers. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you for thinking. Thank you for your comments. The comments on this channel are becoming exceptional. And please share this with your friends. Share this with people of like mind. Share this with people of unlike mind if you'd like. But share this with people because it helps. It helps us get the word out. It increases the conversation. It increases, when you have more people kind of supporting what you think, it helps to support you. It helps to strengthen you. There are strength in numbers. And that's why it's important that we share this. And if you'd like to support us another way, we thank you. You can do that by joining our Patreon channel. There's a lot more stuff over there that you will enjoy and benefit from, and we would love to have you. And as I always say, America needs a reversion or something. And that's too long of a title for the. I can't change the name of this channel to America Needs a Reversion or something. It's got to be American Reversion. It needs a reversion or something. We're going to find out what it needs. I think that's it. I think that the evolving situation is going to show us what it needs. But whatever it needs you to be a part of it. It needs me to be a part of it. It needs all of us to be a part of it. Working together and trying to get more people into the fold. So thank you for doing your part, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.